Hi guys, I'm Benjamin, the Spotlight Kid. Welcome to another episode of Album Explorations. Today, we're going to shine the spotlight on one of the pioneers of progressive metal, Queensryche, and their sophomore album and my personal favorite, the masterpiece, Rage for Order. So, Queensryche had gained a large buzz around their debut self-titled EP and had toured with the likes of Quiet Riot and Twisted Sister, and even opened up for Dio in Seattle. They came to the attention of EMI Records, and after signing with them, would head to London to record their debut full-length album, 1984's The Warning, a fantastic album that was beginning to show some more of the band's future prog metal leanings. Interestingly, this album was produced by James Guthrie, who had also produced the likes of Pink Floyd and Judas Priest. So pretty lofty company for a debut album. Then the original lineup of guitarists Chris DeGamo, Michael Wilton, bassist Eddie Jackson, drummer Scott Rockenfield, and of course vocal legend Jeff Tate decided to embark on a mission to create an even more advanced artistic statement. This time, the band really reached far beyond their previous limits and gave us an album that is truly unique, introducing pop elements as well as making the songs more progressive, yet still retaining the darkness. Released in 1986 on EMI Records, they gave us the fantastic second album, Rage for Order. So let's dive in and see what this album has to offer. Track 1, Walk in the Shadows. So, they open up the album and are instantly grooving hard. The drums play a great feel, especially on the kick drum that propels it forward, and the guitars playing open chords and chugging respectively. Then Jeff Tate's soaring voice comes flying in over the top to deliver the verse, with the guitar playing a variation. It's immediately dripping with Jeff's usual dramatic approach, and as usual in this era of the band, it sounds amazing and memorable. I'm really not sure exactly what this song is about though. It's, either just some kind of a love story with its usual ups and downs and the typical self-centeredness that people experience in those times. But it may also be perhaps a vampire love story, as the whole dreaming through the day and their secret being safe thing seems a little vampire-ish to me. But like I said, I don't really know, and I could be completely wrong, so let me know in the comments if I'm completely off base. Anyway, the chorus lifts up and it's powerful and catchy. It's both poppy and moody as well as retaining the heaviness. The solo is electric and further lifts the song and energizes things even more. The last chorus sees the rhythm change up and evolve under the vocal melody, and they go out hitting hard in that great groove. It's a really fantastic opener to this album. Track 2, I Dream in Infrared. This one opens up somewhat dreamily with floating, arpeggiated guitar chords, keyboard pads, and an upfront bass and drum hinting the changes to come. The band then sort of kicks in with a slower mid-paced feel, then drops away to just an acoustic guitar passage, and Jeff begins to mournfully tell another story about a troubled relationship. I like the weird line about him asking the woman as she wakes up if she realized that the tear stains on her face are actually his. So that's pretty bizarre. The guitars build briefly, and then the chorus launches, and it's again majestic and loaded with feeling and emotion. Again, they are using techniques from the common pop rock and new wave styles of the time, but with variations and plenty of dark moodiness thrown in, making it their own. Through the second verse, the band joins in with keyboards and great grooving drums, and when the chorus returns we get more rhythmic variations leading into the story-like guitar solo. The chorus closes out the song, but in typical progressive fashion. It's loaded with more rhythmic and melodic variations. Another familiar yet unique sounding song. Great song. Track 3, The Whisper. A great snake-like descending guitar line, which is then joined in harmony by the second guitar, kicks this off with 80s percussive sound effects as well that build up and then kick into a very upbeat, somewhat unexpectedly poppy 80s groove. However, everything on top definitely is all Queensryche. Dark moodiness mixed with rocking guitars and bass, and Tate's instantly recognizable, distinctive voice and style. Again, I'm not sure if there's a hidden meaning to the song or I just don't get it, but it seems to be another story about the trials and tribulations of human mating. Again, if I'm missing something, please explain, because I'm always happy to get more players exposed to me with the music I love. Anyway, the groove continues in the verse style through to the chorus, but the music is lifted by the other instruments and it's again powerful, emotive, and extremely catchy. Jeff soars around the upper registers as if it's easy, like it's nothing at all. At the peak of his powers, he truly was something special. A great variation of that snaky line from the beginning moves through some key changes and into the last chorus with again some more movement going on with it. Another killer track. Track 4, Gonna Get Close to You. So here, Queensryche tackle a song originally from Canadian artist Del Bello. The lyrics are sung from the point of view of a person stalking someone and their obsessive feelings and self-questioning and realization about the same. The song is instantly both epic and also eerie and strange. A very straight rhythmic feel, a cool circular pulsating guitar riff, and again the somewhat mechanized 80s sound effects, as well as Jeff's impassioned rendition of the story, make for a simultaneously disquieting yet highly enjoyable listen. The song is very unique, but it's also very catchy and loaded with earworms. Before the chorus, it gets even more uncomfortable, and then we get the simple, direct chorus. It lifts back into more epic territory after that, and Jeff gets even more impassioned. The pre-chorus kicks in and rocks hard before returning to that simplicity. When it gets to that infinite charm line, the bass reminds me of Billy Gould from Faith No More, and the way he used to stomp out the bass lines on that band's first few albums. There's a great, powerful feel throughout all of that. After a melodic guitar line sort of solo section, they finish on the chorus again, and their trademark proggy variations mixed in. It's a weird and wonderful track. Then we get to track 5, The Killing Words. An 80s sci-fi movie soundtrack sounding keyboard line kicks this one off. The verse comes in and the guitar now plays the melody gently as Jeff sings about another doomed relationship situation. I don't know what was happening in Jeff's personal life at the time, but it sounds like things weren't too rosy on the relationship front for old mate there. Anyway, Jeff starts somewhat restrained, but builds the intensity and drama. And when the chorus hits, it's powerful and epic and fantastic. Eventually, we get a nice proggy section with the drums and lead guitars moving more freely and sort of somewhat soloing. The emotion and mood is again on full display here, and it's another great song. Track 6, Surgical Strike. This one comes out more metallic in the vein of their earlier releases. The riffs are straightforward and the slightly galloping bass in the verse is very cool. Again, I'm not totally clear exactly what the focus here is. Perhaps it's about how soldiers are trained to perform the dark necessities of war and the heavy price that incurs, or perhaps it's about the development of drone-like warfare, or even perhaps some sort of Terminator-style war machines that are carrying out warfare with zero human accountability and with a singularly minded cold precision, something like that. I could be completely wrong about all of that. But anyway, nevertheless, whatever it is, exactly, sounds damn cool and works fantastically well with the instrumentation. The verse is somewhat restrained, but then the chorus rocks out and opens up with a great catchy vocal melody and performance on top. The solo is a ripper, and the band intensity lifts significantly through it and into the middle mini prog section. The outro rocks out with some cool rhythmic variations to end. So next we have track 7, New Regal. New Regal. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to say it. I think it's German, and I think it means new rule. But anyway, so sci-fi effects again build to then land on an acoustic passage and haunting keyboard line. This until the heavy guitar riff begins while the drums, keys, and percussive sound effects pulse frantically to all create a strange tension. Jeff begins to tell the tale of the arrival of a new world order and a new global outlook. You know, the fulfillment of the protagonist's dreams of a new rule. The vibe of the verses seems as if it's coming from some kind of oppression, you know, that's part of the story. The vocals are run through effects to sound muted and thin, and the band proceeds haltingly and with basically just sort of sound effects rather than riffs through the verse. Then a brief musical section kicks in and lifts the mood and has an epic feel before settling back into the weirdness. Eventually we get to the chorus, and with crossing melodic vocal and backing vocal harmony parts over the band kicking hard, it becomes very epic. Then a very tasty, somewhat Middle Eastern, Arabic-y sort of sounding solo, and a band progression that also retains the power already established and continues into the final chorus. It's interesting, weird, and very cool. Then we get to track 8, Chemical Youth, We Are Rebellion. So this one comes out riffing hard in an almost new wave of British heavy metal style, briefly, but then to have it given the prog groove treatment. Still retaining some of that classic riffing vibe, but percussively very much out of that mold. It's very anthemic, with huge sounding backup chants supporting Jeff through the verse. Then when the chorus kicks in, the groove appears more straightforward, but again has the embellishments and proggy drumming to keep it from sounding too traditional. Jeff here is of course singing of rebellion and imploring the listener to join in this revolution. The song really sounds like it's being sung from a podium to a huge crowd baying for change and rebellion. It reminds me of Pink Floyd's The Wall, when Pink has gone all maniacal and wants to reshape the world. I think they captured the mood here perfectly, actually. The song rocks hard, it's action-packed, loaded with hooks, like the rest of this great album. It goes down a few more twists and turns while building the intensity through the outro. Kick-ass stuff. Anyway, track 9, London. So more 80s keyboard sounds. However, this time it's cleaner and more robotic. And it's over sort of chorus effect sounding guitars. Slow and moody, the verse sees Jeff singing mournfully again about what I think is perhaps either a lost love or a lost love because of a death. Again, I'm not sure, and please correct me if I miss the mark again. The drums stomp out in a very simple, slow groove while Jeff emotes. The pre-chorus lifts everything up a notch, and then into the extremely catchy melodic chorus, which, while rocking, still has the tension held down with a droning keyboard. Then we get another proggy section for the guitar solos, and the epicness is on full display here. From then on, the energy doesn't fall away again, and they repeat the sections with, of course, all the mandatory rhythmic and melodic ornamentations and variations. Awesome. So that brings us to track 10, Screaming in Digital. This one bounces into life after another short post-apocalyptic sci-fi intro thing. The drum groove is again very cool, and the keys over the top bring the tension. Then Jeff starts the verse, which is over the top of another very synthetic, futuristic sounding synth thing, with moments of riffing and drumming sort of randomly interjecting. The song seems to be dealing with the dangers and fears around technology and how deeply it can affect our lives. I'm not totally sure of the exact angle he's coming from, but I think that's the gist of it anyway. Sorry, I'm sweating like crazy. It's super hot here right now. Anyway, when it gets to the section where the backing vocals are singing one line while Jeff sings about not being a slave over the top, it's totally proggy, powerful, epic goodness. Another really cool, unconventional song from these guys. Finally, we get to track 11, I Will Remember. The song starts with a keyboard pad that sounds almost like a cross between Gregorian chants and a deep Mongolian throat singing sort of vibe, while an acoustic plays a melancholy laced progression with the electric guitar adding the tension. Jeff beautifully floats more melancholy over the top. He sings about the knowing star, about orbital surveys and machines stealing dreams and asking us to remember, and that he will too. I'm pretty lost on the meaning of this one actually. I have a few ideas, but hey, look, it sounds great, and the music is always much more important to me personally than the lyrics anyway. Good lyrics, for me, are just the icing on the cake. Of course, there are some exceptions, but generally that's how I feel about it. Music comes first, in my opinion anyway. So the feel slowly builds, and Jeff continues to show his vocal prowess. We get a beautiful nylon string guitar passage sort of solo thing to then return to Jeff's impassioned performance, and some whistling thrown in for good measure. Hey, why not? So as the song gently winds down to close the album that way. Really classy, beautiful stuff. So that's it for Rage for Order. So how would I rate this album? Well, let's have a look at the merits. Every member of the band really shines on this album. All the performances are perfect. It's slick and professional, yet also loaded with passion and power. Jeff Tate vocally, for me, is really at the peak of his powers here. He sounds unique and bizarre and fantastic. The production is great too. Everything is clear and precise, yet full, rich and powerful. The songwriting is on another level here. It's not their proggiest stuff, but the weirdness and variations within the songs are so interesting and unusual that this album really stands alone and has a complete uniqueness. I love every song on this album and can't find any fault with it of any kind. So with all that in mind, I'm going to give this one a perfect 10 out of 10. A perfect album from a band at the peak of their powers. I would highly recommend this album to anyone who loves early prog metal, also fans of great melodic metal of any kind, and even fans of 80s pop rock, new wave, or goth might find something to love here. Anyway guys, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe, and go check out my other album explorations, as well as my new show, Underground Reviews. There'll be many more of those coming too. And any sharing of my videos would be highly appreciated. So from me, the Spotlight Kid, thanks for watching, stay metal, and see you next time.